as I argue in Own Your Health, we're made to think that nutrition is a controversial field, and the media helps promote the idea that, gee, there are so many conflicting nutritional studies. What can we possibly believe? When the truth is that it's settled science. And the controversy is mainly in the media, and because there are authors who are trying to capitalize on people's bad habits, and so they write books about how meat is healthy and so forth. But the truth is, when you look at the science, all the science is on the same side, and it's very much the same with climate change. You know, all the serious scientists agree that we are heating up the planet with greenhouse gases, and there isn't a serious scientific debate. But you'll hear in the media, some people say it's a hoax and so forth. So when it comes to nutrition, we've known for 70, 80 years that meat causes heart attacks, that saturated fat and cholesterol cause heart attacks. We've seen how on the fatty Western diet, there's a terrible problem with obesity, and there's a terrible problem with diabetes, and there's a terrible problem with cancer. And you mentioned before the plant-based doctors, a growing movement of plant-based doctors. These are doctors who, for the most part, were not taught about nutrition in medical school. Most doctors learn nothing about nutrition in medical school, but they all independently came to the same conclusion, that they had been trained incorrectly, that if they did their jobs the way they were being trained, they wouldn't be talking about nutrition. But they learned the same truth, which is that a low-fat, plant-based diet will protect your health in countless ways. Get you to your optimal weight, protect you from cancer, protect you from diabetes, give you more energy, protect you from inflammation. In every way, the low-fat, plant-based diet is the ideal human diet. And so when people think it's controversial, it's been made to seem controversial by the media and by some authors who defend the paleo diet and all of the caveman diet and whatever nonsense they come up with. But you notice there isn't any movement of doctors in the country who suddenly realize that sausage and hamburger and cheese are what they should encourage their patients to eat. There's no such movement. And so you would think that if there was any evidence that sausage and bacon and corned beef are good for you, that there would be a movement of doctors to say, gee, let's encourage this with our patients. But that doesn't happen because all the evidence is on the same side. All the evidence is that there's greater longevity on the plant-based diet. There's healthier blood pressure levels on the plant-based diet. There's less inflammation. Every metric has been proven to be best on the plant-based diet. And the best studies were by Caldwell Esselstyn.
Yeah.
Because when you look at all the other studies, what happens is you'll read a study of 5,000 vegetarians or vegans versus 5,000 meat eaters. And it's what they call a self-reporting study. And in these self-reporting studies, people, it's what it sounds like, they report what they ate, and they don't always remember accurately. And then they report their health conditions, and the scientists review the data and try to come to conclusions. And in all those studies, the vegans outperform the vegetarians, and the vegetarians outperform the meat eaters, but it's somewhat close. Because those vegans might be having vegan donuts and soda pop. All those things are vegan. So just because you're on a vegan diet doesn't mean you're on a healthy diet. Esselstyn, on the other hand, who worked with patients with severe heart disease, he put them on not just a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet. He put them on an excellent diet. He put them on a low-fat, plant-based diet with no oil, no sugar. And so he took people who were really literally at death's door with severe heart disease. He got them to eat correctly, and they had tremendously positive health outcomes, and are, you know, 10, 15, 20 years would have no cardiac events, whereas the few patients of Dr. Esselstyn who were not compliant with his diet, they had far more cardiac events and worse health outcomes.